Okay, Group 4, how you going? So I've got the footage here of the car, and I've just set up a few different things that we can do with the footage. Just a few different effects. When I'm with you next Thursday, we'll look at how to speed it up and slow it down. We'll have the controller there, and we'll talk about how to project it as well. But for the moment, I want you to just have a look at these and have a bit of a play with things. So the first one is a feedback effect. It looks a little like this. And if you want to play with that one, you go into the system here and look at the luma level. And right now that's got an opacity of 99. If you make that 999, doesn't affect it too much, does it? Okay. Maybe you could go to the feedback and you could hit pulse, and that goes from turning it right off, so no feedback, and then feedback. So you can do that to see the difference and what's happening to the picture. That one's pretty simple, so I'll just leave that feedback off, leave it running on, sorry. This one here is a feedback edge. It's a bit more of a this has got a whole tool inside this feedback edge one here, which I've just made active with the green box around it. And you can play with that one. That's got a lot of kind of effects in it, so you can blur everything, make it really blurry, and that'll kind of kill the computer a bit if you put too much on. You can blur the feedback so it just goes very wafty. You can change the colors around, so it does all kinds of stuff. And you can play with the scale, which kind of makes the feedback either go away from you like this, or kind of if it's on 1, it sort of sits there, and the further above 1, the further it rushes. So that one's a really good one to play with. That's a fun operator, the feedback edge. I use that one a lot. Next one is basically putting a bit of a wobble. So we've got a noise, which is making some random numbers for us, and then that's going through a chop to and affecting the signal like this. So it's displacing bits of the video in a wobbly way. So how to play around with that one is you click on displace here. Actually, sorry, no, go to noise. Go to the noise chop, because that's the one that's starting everything. And here we've got amplitude, which means the amount. So that's on 8 or 9. What if I put that on 20? It's going to get really wobbly. What if I make it, I don't know, 60? It's going to get almost unrecognizable. So you can play around with that. That'll just take you to 10, but you can punch in the numbers. So that's a good one to play with. And finally we have the UFO. Dun, dun, dun. So what I've done here is I've found a picture of a UFO. This is a PNG file. What that means is that the background is transparent. So it means that you just get that picture and nothing else. I found my movie file in, and the other thing we could do is if I put another movie file in, the default it comes up with is a banana. So if we did this, we could have a floating banana. Let's see how that looks with our do we have it? Yep, we got a floating banana. That's actually scarier than a spaceship. Alright, let's go back to the spaceship. It's great when a spaceship is the standard option. So yeah, I've got it on circle, and that's floating around, and I've got that moving through a couple of LFOs here, which just means that's a low frequency oscillator, which is just moving between, it's going up to 1 and then down to -1, and then back up to 1, down to -1. It just keeps doing that. And so I'm just making that move around by getting these guys to essentially make some random movement, and that's how the spaceship is moving around. Once again, we've got a feedback edge here, so you can play with these. You can play with the scale. You can play with all kinds of feedback gains. You can blow it out. You can blur it all out. This one's a little more sensitive than the first feedback, just because I've got a few things going on. But there you go. We've got a nice trail happening there. The spaceship's coming down and leaving a trail, so that's kind of cool. So the main thing is I'll make that one red, so you know to have a look at that one. These guys are interesting to look at because they're controlling the movement of the spaceship. The one to play with here is the noise, so I'll make that red. And the one to play with here is the feedback edge, so let's make that red. And this one is the feedback and the luma level. So good thing to do is open it up on your computer. You might need to get the file if it's not there, from Ethan. And sorry, I think it's Ethan. Yeah. And then just play around with it, break it, mess it all up, break everything, have fun, and then just close it. Don't save it. Reopen it, and it'll all be there again for you to have fun and break again. But yeah, that's where we're at with this one. I think we've got a good way so far, and I'll see everyone soon.